Today we're looking at one of the most important ideas in strategic behavior, the prisoner's dilemma, and why oligopolies often behave exactly like the players in this famous game. Prisoner's dilemma describes a situation where individual self-interest leads to a worse outcome for everyone, even though cooperation would make them all better off. A classic example, two prisoners must decide whether to confess or stay silent. If both stay silent, they get short sentences, but each has the temptation to confess for a better personal deal. Here's your first question. Why do the prisoners often end up confessing even though staying silent makes them both better off? The same logic shows up in real markets, especially oligopolies, where only a few firms compete and each must consider how rivals will react. Imagine two firms that could collude to restrict output and raise price. If both stick to the agreement, they earn high profits, just like the prisoners who stay silent. Each firm faces a temptation: produce a little more in secret. If the rival sticks to the agreement, the cheating firm earns even more profit. The incentive mirrors the prisoner's dilemma. However, if both firms cheat, output rises and price falls. Both firms end up worse off, similar to both prisoners confessing and receiving long sentences. So, the oligopoly outcome without cooperation often results in more production and lower prices than cartels want, but less production and higher prices than perfect competition would deliver. Firms are stuck in a strategic trap. Acting in self-interest is rational but leads them away from their ideal profits. Cooperation would help, but trust is hard to maintain. This is why real-world cartels struggle. Each member has a powerful financial incentive to break the agreement, just like the prisoners have an incentive to confess. From a game theory perspective, the Nash equilibrium for the prisoner's dilemma is the non-cooperative outcome. Each party chooses the best response to the other's likely action. In oligopolies, the Nash equilibrium usually means higher output and lower prices than any firm wants, but no firm can improve its situation by changing its decision alone. Second question, why is the cooperative high-profit outcome so difficult for oligopolists to maintain over time? The core issue is that cooperation isn't the best individual strategy, even though it's best for the group. Self-interest pushes firms toward the non-cooperative equilibrium. Repeated interactions can help somewhat. If firms meet over and over, they might punish cheating, which can make cooperation easier to sustain, but still not guaranteed. Even then, uncertainty, miscommunication, and the lure of short-term profits make long-term cooperation fragile. Markets rarely achieve perfect collusion in practice. Oligopolies therefore live in the tension between cooperation and competition. They understand the benefits of acting like a cartel, yet competitive pressures are always pulling them apart. So the prisoner's dilemma helps explain pricing, output levels, and strategic behavior in oligopoly markets. It shows how rational decisions can lead to outcomes that are anything but ideal.